Many men are drained, but not in a way they dare to speak of aloud. It's a fatigue that sleep cannot mend, a weariness with no name, kept hidden by those who endure it in silence. It's the burden of living quietly, of playing roles they never wanted, of exhausting themselves in an unseen struggle the world refuses to see. And you, even if you refuse to admit it, know that shadow follows you with every step, lingering just out of sight. There's something unsettling about all this. You're supposed to be there, to give, to provide, to hold everything together. Yet you're rarely permitted to fall. The hardest part isn't the sacrifice itself, but the silence that follows when you've given everything. That silence feels empty, a reminder that no one will applaud you, that your value is only judged by how much you give up. And when you try to think of yourself, a guilt rises inside, as if caring for yourself were a crime. Do you notice it? That poison isn't injected from outside, it's already within you. Society never states it directly, but there's an unspoken message. You are deemed valuable only when you push yourself to the limit. You earn respect when you surrender, when you endure, when you carry the burden silently. But tell me, who sees when your back finally gives way? Who remains when your mind can't handle the chaos anymore? No one. The script was set long before you were born, and they've convinced you that deviating from it is betrayal. And here's the unsettling truth. Many men are starting to withdraw, not from women, but from the trap of sacrificing their soul for mere emotional crumbs. They're stepping away from the stage where love turns into debt, where affection is billed, and giving is constantly weighed against an unending list of demands. Though it may appear cold, this retreat is, in fact, a stand for their own dignity. Imagine for a moment that everything you've given over the years was taken as if it were an obligation, that your efforts were seen as a duty, not a gift. Do you understand how unsettling that is? You're surrounded by people who, despite their smiles, have come to view your giving as an expected right. And when you finally can't go on, when you choose to stop, the accusations begin. Selfish, cold, distant. Yet no one questions what happened to your strength, your exhaustion, or your silence. The real mystery isn't why men are pulling away, but how they managed to endure for so long. The truth is, the rope had broken years ago, yet they kept pulling, bleeding internally without any outward sign. Now, gradually, they're starting to see something unsettling. They weren't meant to be emotional prisoners. They don't need to plead for love or prove daily that they're deserving. The real question is this: how much longer can you pretend nothing is wrong? How much longer will you cling to the belief that your worth is measured by how much you sacrifice? The truth no one reveals is that your deepest betrayal isn't in ceasing to give, but in giving so much that you lose yourself. When a man recognizes this, when he dares to confront that emptiness, only one harsh decision is left: to choose peace over validation, dignity over praise. The true turning point isn't when others finally understand you, but when you finally understand yourself. And then the rupture occurs, the day you decide you will no longer negotiate your worth. The day you start walking with a different kind of silence. Not the silence of resignation, but of liberation. That silence disturbs, alarms, because it's the silence of someone who no longer participates in the game, of someone who has broken free from the emotional debt others sought to impose. Now tell me, are you prepared to hear the full truth? Because what follows won't let you sleep peacefully. And here's where it becomes even more unsettling. Because there's something almost no one dares to put on the table: emotional manipulation, masked as love. It's a delicate game where words seem kind, but beneath them lies a quiet poison. You're told you're loved, that you're valued, yet only if you conform, if you follow the unspoken rules someone else has set. And when you finally see it, when you understand that your affection is conditional on your compliance, a warning bell rings inside you that never truly stops. What's truly macabre is that many men become accustomed to that power imbalance, accepting it as normal. Not because they don't see it, but because they've been conditioned to believe that's how love functions. That loving means surrendering oneself. That being a partner requires bearing everything without question. That true courage is shown by enduring in silence. The more they buy into this falsehood, the more they lose touch with their true selves. Unbeknownst to you, each time you dismiss it as nothing, a small part of you withers away. And every time you swallow the discomfort of not being heard, each time you yield to an unreasonable demand out of fear of losing love, you sacrifice your peace. Yet there's something even darker: control masked as concern. The persistent questioning that feels like care, but is really about marking territory. It's the do-it-for-me attitude dressed as tenderness, gradually trapping you in a circle that becomes increasingly difficult to break free from. And the harsh truth is that, in the end, many men come to believe that this is the only way love can be. They tell themselves they should be thankful for it, even as inside they feel dimmer with each passing day. The brutal truth is, love shouldn't feel like a debt, but too many men have lived it that way. As if every gesture isn't enough, as if they must always give a little more, endure a little longer, stay silent just a bit longer, until finally something inside them shatters. It doesn't scream or make a fuss. It simply fades away in silence. And that's the most dangerous sign. When a man stops arguing, stops explaining, he stops trying. It's not calm, it's retreat. A quiet withdrawal inward, away from the prison of suffocating expectations. That retreat isn't cowardice, it's survival, an act of rebellion against the emotional indoctrination that bound him. Because when a man realizes he can live without constant validation, something terrifying unfolds for those around him. He ceases to be manipulable, stops obeying subtle blackmail, sheds guilt that isn't his, and stops fearing the loss of a love that was never love, but control. And in that moment, a strange emptiness appears, an unsettling silence, as those accustomed to his giving start to see they no longer hold him in their grasp. Then comes the curiosity. What will that man do now? Where will he go once he finally chooses himself? The question hangs in the air like a threat. For a man awakened from emotional hypnosis is a man who defies prediction. And unpredictability always stirs fear. Maybe now you're beginning to understand. True transformation happens not when others acknowledge you, but when you no longer rely on that validation to move forward. At that point, something new emerges, a different kind of love that doesn't demand, manipulate, or turn affection into a bargaining chip. The question shifts from whether it's worth pulling back to how you manage to endure so long without doing so. But beware, because what follows this realization isn't peace. It's a silent earthquake, stirring deep within your mind. Do you want to hear it? That earthquake doesn't level cities. It shatters certainties. Suddenly, you glance around and feel a chilling realization. much of what you called relationships were actually invisible contracts you signed without reading a single line. You sealed them with your silence, your giving, your fear of loneliness. Now, with clarity, you start to wonder, how much of what I experienced was genuine love, and how much was just a hidden agreement to keep me trapped in a role I never chose? The most unsettling aspect is that this isn't limited to romantic relationships. The trap seeps into every corner: family, work, friendships. There's always an unspoken script expecting you to be the strong one, the unbreakable one, silently enduring pain so others won't feel uncomfortable. And what do you receive in return? Empty applause, fleeting thank yous that vanish with the next breath, and relentless pressure to repeat it all again tomorrow. It's like living under an endless weight, an emotional mortgage you can never fully pay off. And then comes the darkest part. Emotional exhaustion doesn't happen overnight. It builds gradually. It grows with every time you dismiss your feelings, every moment you stay silent out of fear of confrontation, and every time you put others first while your own inner light dims. This exhaustion doesn't scream or warn you. It quietly accumulates. One day, you wake up and realize you no longer have the strength to feel anything at all. No anger, no joy, no hope. That indifference is the true collapse because it's invisible from the outside, yet inside, it consumes everything. Many men arrive at that moment without anyone noticing, because they keep smiling, keep performing, keep showing up. But inside, they are hollow. When someone empty chooses to withdraw, they don't slam the door. They leave with a chilling silence that unsettles everyone. They walk away without explanations, no longer feeling the need to justify themselves. That's the paradox. The more invisible their suffering, the harder it is for others to understand their decision to leave. So what happens after that withdrawal? Here's the unsettling part. For the first time, that man begins to look inward without fear. He starts asking the questions he always avoided. Who am I when I'm not serving anyone? What do I truly desire when I'm not trying to meet expectations? What is left of me when I no longer carry the guilt of not being enough? These questions are dangerous because each answer tears away a piece of the programming he was raised with. Strangely, in that process, many discover something no one ever told.